So when we first moved out here to rural America, we were pretty confident we knew exactly what we were getting into. Our plan from the beginning, as far as we were concerned, was it was perfect. Our plan when we came out here, of course, was based on a lot of assumptions, things we were pretty sure we knew exactly what the first step was and where to go from there. And that kind of looked something like this. Our plan was to move out here and we were going to learn the landscape, yeah, because we had a lot of things that we had to take into consideration. What was the first step? The first step was to establish our property. What were we going to do with it? We had a lot of plans and a lot of dreams and of course expectations that came along with all of that. So we had a lot of things to keep ourselves busy, right? And our plan was working out perfect when we first came out here, because we just knew that the moment we came out here and started to establish ourselves on the land, we could then take the next step, which was to engage in the community, because that's what made sense to us. This is a great place to move. We're out here in the country, everything is quiet. You know, our dream is coming alive because we just came from what we believe to be the chaotic city, now out to the quiet, tranquil country. And everything was working out great, right? At first, we thought we had everything under control. And it's not like we were surprised when things were getting difficult for us, because you can only plan so much. It's a general plan, you know, move out here, establish temporary housing so that we could then expand into other projects and explore new ideas and things like that. And it was really, really amazing how everything was kind of landing for us. It was like a dream that kept clicking along. So when we finally got to the point to where we believed we were somewhat on an established level, we decided it was time to start engaging in our community. And we really did believe that we knew what that meant, you know, because we met all kinds throughout our lives. We know how to meet and greet. That's something that you learn when you're amongst a lot of people. And we pretty much knew exactly how this was all gonna go down. And boy, was I in for a surprise. And it's not like anything that was just in my face or anything. There were subtle hints as we started to engage. And it happened right away. Like there was certain things that happened, actions, like there was a time that our pets had ventured a little too far, and the people in the area, they had scared our pets away in a fashion that was shocking to us, right? But that's the way it is out here in the country, right? You kind of just mark stuff off, because in my vision, what it is to be country is you don't get to just walk up on somebody, right? It's pretty much mind your business, I'll mind mine. If you need me, I'm there. If you don't, I'm not in your hair. That's kind of the thing. Kind of stand your ground, and you are about what you say you are about. And that's what I believed it is. Mostly anywhere you go, I really still believe that that's what it is. And in this case, it may still be that very case. But in the beginning, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know, because maybe my opinion or my, what is that? It's perception, right? A stereotype, if you will, is off. Because maybe I learned what country folks was from Green Acres, you know, the Beverly Hillbillies. I don't know entirely. Some of that rural rap and the country music, and who knows where it all came from, but I had a belief, and it didn't exactly line up the way I believed. And it kind of was a little bit of surprise for me, right? And it's like when you move to a new area, sometimes you don't necessarily understand how it is that you're communicating. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but like people that say, I like your accent, that person usually doesn't realize that they have an accent. And maybe sometimes the tone is not exactly, I don't know. Maybe it's a tone. I don't know. Maybe it's fast talking city slickers. Who knows what it is? But it's windy out. Very, very windy out. We got a big storm blowing in right now. That being said, I don't know exactly where things started venturing, but one of the things that I noticed right away was some of the conversations were a little bit more than I could comprehend. So I just simply marked them off, like, that's just the way it is out here. Or that's probably just not a big deal. Or maybe I don't even understand what the heck they're saying. I don't know. One of the conversations one time, it really did take me by surprise. And it sounded something like, do you have an orange cat? And I was like, no, I don't have one. Why? And the answer I got, I'm not going to necessarily tell you right now. I'll just say that it was brought to me like the cat would no longer be around. And to me, that was a shock. But I couldn't process it fast enough to be able to understand what was going on at this time. Maybe I just don't understand what it is out here. Because I've had these conversations before with people out here, and people from the country understand something that maybe people from the city don't. Sometimes they have to do things to animals to protect their own stuff, right? So personally, I can understand the why behind some of it. But what I can't still understand is the how, right? Because that's just not, it's not me, but that's something that is more common out here. So in my mind, I'm rationalizing what this conversation actually means. Maybe it's about, looking out for your land. Who knows what the conversation actually means, but me, I just mark it off, right? Because first of all, I'm really not digging the conversation. And then secondly, I'm not really understanding the conversation. So I kind of just move on from that. And it stuck with me for a long time. Actually, it's still sticking with me today. It leaves me with this unsure and uneasy feeling, because when you don't know what it really means, it can leave you feeling like, I don't know, it's too open-ended for me. It could mean this, it could mean that. What does it mean? I'm confused. Now I don't really sit well with that. And I just moved on from it after that and really never put a whole lot of stock into it, because I'm still trying to just learn how to live here. And one of the big things that I realized was the land is the easy part, guys. That's the easy part to figure out. How to meld with the new community like this is something completely different, because it's not just neighborhoods, it's cultures, right? culture there, culture here is different, just is. You know, I mean, everybody's still kind of the same. It's just culturally there are differences, and if you don't know them, then you'll miss them, right? So maybe that's what's happening. And we just kind of let things go after that for a while, but then we noticed along the way there was other conversations, right, that were, I don't know, they weren't like necessarily frightening or anything standalone, you know, like noticing when we're maybe here or not. There's things that can either make you feel comfortable or make you feel uncomfortable all at the same time. And individually, these things can mean very little, right? I don't want to go down the road of every single one of them, but when they're perplexing like that and they're so open-ended, you don't necessarily understand what it is they're trying to communicate to you. Or am I even hearing this correctly, right? Because maybe I'm hearing it from somewhere else and it's completely off base, or maybe I'm hearing it exactly on point. I don't know, because I'm still trying to learn what it means when somebody says something to me down here as opposed to where I used to be, you know. And I mean, some of that's to be expected, I believe, but some of it I don't think has to be so confusing. Maybe it's maybe it's the area that I'm in being sheltered or protective. Maybe it's me. I don't know where the disconnect comes from, but as I continue down this adventure trying to like meet the community, I believe that I'm ignoring a lot of things that I probably shouldn't be ignoring. Now, and maybe if I didn't, things probably wouldn't have escalated to the point that they sometimes can escalate to. But when it's like singular comments in passing or singular actions just in passing, they don't mean a whole lot. But when you start to put them all together collectively, they can start to mean something completely different. So after all of that, things started to settle down for us and started to click a little bit better for us, and we just kind of put things off, marked them off, and never really thought much about them again for a long time. But it did seem to like carry with me. And it's carried with me for quite a while, even though it's been so long since I've actually experienced any of that stuff. So a lot of things have happened since then, but I really never put any stock into it until kind of recently, when we started evaluating what it means to move out here to rural America and try to be part of something outside of just our own little teeny bubble, you know, the community, if you will. And I may have marked things off. I may have rationalized things irrationally. I may have just ignored things throughout because they didn't really make much sense back then. And I don't really have any understanding of why. Typically, what I would have done was view that as some sort of a direct at me, all about me, you know, why don't you like me type of thing. I don't know, something along those lines, but that's not what it ends up being. You know, it starts to mean something completely different when you actually sit back and start to think about the actual change that is being made when you go from one place to another that's so drastic of a change, and what it is that people are trying to communicate to you at the same time, and how the things that I believe in comparison to the things that are realistic, how they seem to maybe coincide. It doesn't always line up, and it doesn't always make sense. Sometimes the cost of comfort is ignoring what made us uncomfortable in the first place. And that surprises me oftentimes, because we can be pretty quick to rationalize things and mark them off or explain them in a way, because, you know, we can sometimes believe that a calm impression is safe or comfortable, and that's not always the same, especially down here in the South. Bless your heart could mean something completely different, if you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I'll be wondering whether I'm ignoring instinct, because it happens. Sometimes doing that has kept me also out of trouble, because my first instinct sometimes can be incorrect, but sometimes it's not. How often do you question your instincts when it comes to how you feel initially? So what it comes down to for me is being who I was and trying to become who I want to become. They seem to clash, and it's not only in good ways all the time. Sometimes you can get lost on this path because you overlook things that you typically wouldn't have, because you want to make sure that you're not blocking yourself off from a new experience. So you open yourself up to all kinds of possibilities. That's on both sides of the spectrum. Who knows what it's going to be? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? You never know until you open it up. But you also sometimes end up on the wrong end of that. And it can happen. And that's when you want to be careful about just marking off your instincts, right? And I'm not trying to do that. But at the same time, I'm not trying to let them get in my way, because one of the things that can oftentimes happen is my insecurities. They can make me hear something a certain way. And in the end of this situation, it's pretty clear to me what it is that was going on, and what it is that they were trying to communicate to me. And communication is a strange thing, right? Because it takes two, so you have the one that's communicating and the one that's being communicated to. So what's being said and what's being heard can be two different things altogether. And when you go from there to here, it's really off base. Well, I'll tell you right now, in the city, you know, when somebody's hyper, they talking like me. I'm like, you know, you're going to know it, right? But out here, they're like, oh, bless your heart, right? That could mean something. It really can. So you can get mixed like signals and mixed emotions and tie things together that don't even tie together, and sometimes they do. So it's definitely something that has left me, even just to this day. A lot of things have happened since then that says things are cool, right? And like, it's very beautiful and quiet out here, and everything seems to be coming together, and we love it. But if you don't know what the heck is going on, sometimes I can fill those blanks in myself. And when I do that, I'm usually left with way more questions than answers. Or answers that are way the heck off. So, I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that, but if you have, make sure you share that down below. Let me know. Sometimes the way things are said is not the way that they're meant. Has that ever happened to you? Has somebody said something to you and you were like, what? And they didn't mean it. Or the flip side to that is sometimes they say things to us and we don't take it serious enough. And then you're like, whoa, yep, I probably should have seen that one coming. Right? I think that's all about being open and being willing to mold yourself to something new. You have to be willing to take a chance and make mistakes, misunderstanding, get it right. Who knows what it is, but it's what it takes anyways. And that all being said, if you guys are enjoying this content, I'm going to end this one right here. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell if you're interested to let you know when we got something up, right? Share this video if you're really enjoying it. Maybe somebody else will too. And subscribe. Let me know you're on this journey with me, because I'm trying to learn how to communicate with these guys, and I'm trying to learn how to communicate with you. And I appreciate when you hang around. I'm excited to see you on the next one. Peace.
Bills piled high.